Hi, this is a Vendor Ops Strategic Thinking series, and it's going to cover what are the potential strengths of your supply management function that you can put to good use today. I'm Nick Francis, I'm the Chief Technology and Marketing Officer for Brooklyn Vendor Assurance, and I'm also a Vendor Ops Boards Advisor. So this is a strengths analysis. Obviously, you can't do this for everyone, so it's kind of a generic session just to give you an idea of some of the strengths that you might be carrying within your organisation today. This is part of a strategic workup, and there's 4 elements to this, should I say, which is it's a SWOT analysis. So there's a strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and the threats, and today we'll be talking about the strengths. So hopefully seeing this already and being part of a supply management function or a vendor management function, you are recognised in that in your own right. So you have a consistent set of responsibilities that are assigned to your team. So that's a strength, right? You're off the races, you have a supply management function, or you have a semblance of a supply management function. If you don't yet have the team together, the fact that you're probably watching this, you have a need for a supply management function. So the fact you've identified that need itself is a strength. There are now best practice that are widely available from well-established research companies on what you need to cover from a supplier or vendor management perspective. Depending on what industry you work in, there'll also be regulatory requirements around how you deal with your more critical and outsourced suppliers that you might want to look at that helps you form what the organisation around supply management needs to do and needs to undertake. There are similarly, not only are there research companies, those people who work in research companies or in the past have worked in research companies have gone on their own to become, there's thought leaders and there's consultants that are also widely accessible to help accelerate the view on how a supply management function should be put together, especially what they need to do both pre and post contract. Because it's a relationship management function essentially, so supplier relationship management, SRM, VRM, there are lots of aligned industries or opposites from a customer perspective or a general account management perspective. There's lots of skilled resources out there that are widely available from slightly different backgrounds but can be really effective when put into a supply management function context. Supply management and vendor management is a discipline that, when done well, is proven to be extremely cost effective and will help reduce operating costs and increase deal value post-contract. There's been a significant amount of writing on this over the last decade, but you can expect the difference of not doing supply management to doing it well is a swing of between 15 to 30 points on the deal value. So what I mean by that is if you don't do supply management particularly well and you just let your deals amble along post-contract, you're likely to see a 15% drop off in value over the first 20 months through risk and just not managing it effectively. In a similar way that if you do effectively manage it, you can expect to increase the value of that deal by up to 15%. A lot of money when you think about it. If you're talking about £1 million deal, that's a drop of 150,000 or increase of 150,000, thus a swing of £300,000 worth of value. It's definitely worth doing. Dedicated resources, hopefully by now that you have dedicated resources set up and are helping define how the organisation should manage its vendors post-contract. If not, back to the earlier point, if you haven't yet got that function but you are recognising that need, there are a lot of options and there's other videos that we can point to on this that you can look at later around operating model. So whether you have a centralised, decentralised or hybrid operating model, those are things you probably want to check out to see how you get the biggest bang for buck out of the resources that you are going to align to this vendor management function. A lot of the skill sets you already have in place to conduct day-to-day business, if just looked at in a vendor or supplier-centric way, can be used more effectively to help scale out the supplier and vendor management function. So look at how centrally coordinated you could orchestrate policy and process to leverage those who already have touch points with suppliers today to improve the way that they're managed post-contract. There was only a few ERP players before and some CRM or source to contract or procure to pay platforms available. But over the last sort of 5 or so years, there's more digital platforms come online that are focused to help support suppliers and help support complex deals at an enterprise level from a post-contract management perspective. It was very difficult before. It was a lot of the capability just dropped off as soon as the deal was signed. That's no longer the case. So there's strength in the fact that these platforms do exist today to help you with your supply management function and not only help define it but help scale it. In a larger organisation, for the ability to use to get across hundreds if not thousands of suppliers, it's highly unlikely you will ever get the resource signed off to do that. It needs to be supported by some kind of digital means. Like I said, without actually knowing each of your individual use cases, they are generally the strengths that we see case to case that exist already in an organisation. And much of that already starts with the need or the identified need that you need to do supply management better or need to have some strategic context around your supply management or vendor management function. Hope that was useful. Look out for the follow-up sessions on weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Thank you.
To keep up with the latest Brooklyn vendor assurance news, subscribe here and follow us on LinkedIn and Twitter. Links in the description below.